At the end of the day, what I saw, I think what we all saw and talks about in the group chat is there's a fragility about this Italian side. There's a fragility in the midfield, fragility at the back line with players like Bastoni, who didn't look good at all, and Giovanni Di Lorenzo, the guy that plays for Napoli, that's a leader, was a ghost. And I'm not even going to touch Manuel Locatelli because the performance on the field spoke for itself, but they got bailed out by their front two.
I mean, even Donnarumma didn't look good. Everybody looked shaky. There's a lack of confidence. I felt you could have driven a boat through the back line. That's how expanded they were. And it seems that there's a lack of understanding of the tactics or their game plan, or they came out with their level just thinking Israel weren't going to try to actually win this game. And, I mean, incredible goals, like one of the most entertaining games, I guess, but what poor football, especially from a team that we expect to defend so much better than they did.
It was one of the worst games of football that I've seen recently.
Damn, he's back.
I don't know if it was a fever dream of me getting off the plane, not sleeping much, but I sat down on my couch and I was just like, is it Italy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
they're unfamiliar.
The defending, the ease in which you concede, the lack of cutting-edge mentality. Yeah, sure, they got it done, but they were up 4-2. When Raspadori scored the goal, it felt like that was it. It should have been nail in the coffin, but Israel found a way to fight back, and then just Israel conceding just immediately after on two separate moments when they scored. It was horrifically poor. It was. I couldn't believe it.
Can I bring up a positive? Yeah? Okay.
Sure.
Well,
here we go.
That leads us to our Auto Trader Player Spotlight. And Moise Kean was a positive. He had a brace in this game. He's been excellent and very productive in this window. 3 goals on 5 shots on target in just 163 minutes played. So let's bring in now Marco Messina, our Serie A analyst, to talk more about Kean and this Italian team right now. Marco, we're going to start with the positives with you before we let you really just, take this Italy team just into the ground, but how irreplaceable has Kean become for this Italian national team?
Yeah, if you think back to a few months ago and what the narrative has been around Italy for a long time, even when Italy won the Euros, which seems like decades ago, but it was only in 2021. What was the big problem? The big problem is we had no striker. We had no goal scorer. That's what we kept saying, oh, Italy doesn't produce nines. Now, all of a sudden, we've got Moise Kean and Matteo Retegui, who are both doing phenomenal, and they need to play in this team. I mean, for Moise Kean, he is such an unselfish player. He's a striker, but he's so good at creating opportunities for the rest of his teammates. He's so hungry. His finishes were great. He's got 10 goals in his 10 starts for the Italian national team. He was reborn under Palladino at Fiorentina. This is a player that Juventus gave away for 13 million euros, and now this summer, Fiorentina had to up his release clause. He is one of the bright spots for this Italian national team, and for everything we were lacking in attack in the past years and everything we made up in defense and midfield, it's kind of like that's flipped on its head. So that is the only positive, though, that we could take from this match.
Marco, let's get into it. Yesterday at your watch party and on TikTok, I got to see you say you called it a European MLS match and you're going to have nightmares. Did you have nightmares? Did you get any sleep last night?
I mean, are my eyes still bleeding from what I watched? Or, I don't know, you guys tell me. I couldn't believe it. One of the craziest things is I had my commentator say it's the best game he's ever seen. I completely disagree. That was embarrassing level of football. From start to finish, by the way. Also, the fact that Gattuso said that they were surprised by the way that they looked. Yeah, we hosted this watch party. We thought it was going to be a nice day. Italy's going to be able to celebrate. And then it was just stress until the final few minutes. And to me, the craziest part about this, yes, it's a scoreline, but it's the fact that they were 4-2 up in the 87th minute. Italy is 4-2 up in the 87th minute with World Cup qualification on the line. If you tie this game, World Cup qualification is done. It's probably already done. It's going to be an uphill battle. But if you tie this game, there is no chance. And you're up 4-2, and an Italian team is pressing and is playing super offensive. Any other Italian team in the history of this country would have been able to stay solid, would have been able to manage out a game. And we got ourselves into this crazy moments, and I think we made Israel look a lot better than they needed to be. Solomon from Israel looked like Maradona. Perez is a player that I watched in Serie A. Excuse me, I didn't even watch him in Serie A. The guy was a bench player for Venezia, and he was tearing us apart. So, yes, my eyes are still bleeding.
I don't know what's more entertaining, Marco with all the gestures.
I was just going to say, the hand gestures are at an all-time high.
Or the match itself. Marco, on the positive, if there is a positive to take apart from the 3 points, Italy has scored 9 goals in their last 2 matches. So are they potentially turning the corner at the right time, or am I speaking out of my you-know-what?
I think it's definitely hard to judge because we have to also take the opponent. But to that point, we've never been able to score 5 goals in back-to-back games. So it is a pretty crazy thing to see from an Italian side, and they need to make up that goal difference. You guys showed it. Unfortunately, the goals conceded pretty much ruined that. It would have been a really good international break had it not be for those goals conceded. They would have been doing something unthinkable. As I mentioned, I love the 2-striker system. I think we figured it out. There was rumors if he was only going to start one. People said, oh, Keane and Retegui can't play together. None of that was true. And Matteo Retegui is still a player that's so criticized in Italy. He's a player that people question every time. And I think it's because he's not what people will say natural Italian, because he was Argentine and then, they found a way to make him Italian through his ancestors. But he is
What's wrong with Argentines, bro?
Nothing. They have the grit. I'm the one who's been fighting for Retegui for years, but for some reason he's always talked about. And every time he plays for the Italian national team, the assist that he had in these games was second to none. And that is the positive. I even had a chance to speak to Sebastian Giovinco, obviously a top quality player this week. And he told me when you play with 2 strikers, it helps everything go better. I think that is the path forward for Italy. They need to fix the defense, but at least we have 2 strikers who are scoring goals.
Marco, at Estonia, at home versus Israel, at Moldova, at home versus Norway. Those are the 4 games left that separate Italy with the FIFA World Cup, Canada, the United States, and Mexico 2026. Does it happen?
I said it here before on Morning Footy a couple of days ago. I don't think so. I really don't think so. For sure, I mean, I would give an 85% chance that Italy are not going to finish in the top spot. And if Italy have to go through a third World Cup qualification, where we already saw them crumble against Sweden, we witnessed them crumble against North Macedonia, in games in which the players themselves said we could not deal with the pressure of missing a World Cup. Can you imagine having to do that a third time? I don't know that this generation has it. It's not about the skill at that point. It's about the resilience. We saw the fragility already. So you need a miracle. What all Italian fans are doing, we are hate watching Norway. We're praying that they slip up in one match. If they slip up in some games somehow, all of a sudden the door is open. But without that, I think it's going to be close to impossible, honestly.
Okay, so you're very negative, but are Italian fans feeling the same way you do? Like they really don't think that Italy are going to make it?
What gives you security in this game that we just saw? I mean, this should have been a very simple, routine 2 matches where we upped the goal difference. They should have been layups for Gattuso's team. And I have a lot more questions, especially in midfield and in defense, than I did coming into this. So I would say, how could you not be? We still have the scars. We feel the scars of these last World Cups. You can't trust this national team to do it. The 3-0 against Norway in the first game of this qualifiers absolutely set us on the wrong path, and we've been trying to play catch up ever since.
All right, well, call the priests, get all that holy water to the watch parties. You guys are going to need all the help that you can get. No,
you got it, bro.
Hey,
Italy's got it.
He needs to stay away from going to Italy matches, though, because you're still the mush.
Thanks for the reminder, guys. I really appreciate it. You're making me feel better on this day. You know what we need to do? We need to host the World Cup. But unfortunately, our stadiums are crumbling, so we're not able to. But maybe one day we'll fix that, too.
Oh, man. Marco, great stuff. Thanks for joining us. And, sorry, Lahoud just had to bring you back down to earth a little bit if you weren't already there.